When you hear the word Africa, poverty, hunger, and civil war likely come to mind. For decades, the media has broadcast those images to the exclusion of almost everything else. But look closer. You will also find gleaming skyscrapers, massive industrial ports, and buzzing stock exchange floors. This map reveals 54 nations sustaining over 1.5 billion people. Beneath their soil lies 30% of global mineral reserves, including vast gold, diamond, and cobalt deposits. Above ground sit enormous oil reserves and 60% of Earth's uncultivated arable land. Raw assets alone suggest this should be the wealthiest region in human history, yet the perception of poverty remains. The geometric lines on this 1914 map reveal how European powers carved up the continent to suit their own administrative needs. These borders effectively split ancient ethnic communities in half, while locking historical rivals into the same national cage. Governing these forced unions proved nearly impossible after independence. Without a shared national identity, political competition frequently spiraled into the military coups and power shifts seen in these phases. This instability prevented the development of transparent, stable oversight. In an environment of constant political survival, early administrations often prioritized patronage and personal control over building the public institutions needed to manage the nation's wealth. This deep political fragmentation created a persistent vulnerability, preventing these nations from uniting to fully capitalize on their own natural resources. Economists identify this trap as the resource curse, a phenomenon where an abundance of natural wealth actually hinders a nation's broader economic growth. As this flowchart illustrates, foreign capital and government attention tend to flood exclusively into dominant extraction points. This starves essential sectors like domestic manufacturing, education, and innovation of the investment they need to grow. This creates a dangerous dependency. If global commodity prices drop even slightly, the extraction revenue dries up, and the entire national economy collapses along with it. However, look at modern waterfronts and cityscapes like this one. Nations like South Africa, Nigeria, Botswana, and the Seychelles are building massive economies and high per capita incomes through technology and modern infrastructure. Natural wealth only becomes a benefit when strong, diversified institutions exist to manage it and shield the broader economy from the volatility of global markets. Today, the global economy is in a sprint toward the future, driven by the massive expansion of electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy grids. These next-generation technologies rely on minerals like cobalt, platinum, and copper. The vast majority of these essential elements are pulled from massive open-pit mines right here in Africa. To capitalize on this, African nations are beginning to demand more than just extraction. They are using global desperation for these materials to insist that manufacturing and processing plants be built directly within their own borders. Controlling the supply chain for next-gen technology provides the leverage needed to dictate global trade terms and move past the cycle of the resource purse. While the world remains focused on the wealth buried in the ground, they are overlooking the continent's most valuable asset. This population shift is historic. While the workforces of Europe and Asia are actively shrinking, Africa is seeing a massive, young, and rapidly urbanizing population come of age. Pairing the world's most critical minerals with an unmatched surge in young workers positions the continent as the next center of the global economy. Gold, oil, and diamonds are finite. True prosperity is built by the education and ingenuity of the 1.5 billion people walking over them. That is where the real wealth lies.